In this video, we'll continue building a blockchain AI agent from scratch using a Web2 API, Hedera, and LangGraph.js. Hi all, I'm Brendan and welcome to Hands-on DevRel. We're starting from where we left off previously, where we had initialized the project and created clients for the LLM and for the Hedera blockchain. Now we'll be moving on to something called tools. But what exactly are tools in an AI agent? LLMs can respond to user prompts purely based on what the LLM is intrinsically aware of, but that is extremely limited. Firstly, an LLM's knowledge is frozen in time and it is based on when it was trained. It cannot query live or changing data sources. Secondly, LLMs cannot change any state. They can only query state. And this is useful in many cases, but it also is very limiting in many others. And the solution to that is what LangGraph calls tools. Essentially, you provide a function which has whatever custom logic you want in it. You can query live and changing data if you want. You can update or modify data if you want. And you can interact with any third-party system if you want. So that's very powerful, but still, there's nothing AI about it yet. So show me the AI. Where is the AI at? So tools aren't just those functions. Tools also come with definitions. You can think of these as schemas which are purpose-made such that LLMs can understand what the purpose of the function is and how to invoke them. And this allows the LLM to convert the prompts into deciding if and when functions should be invoked, deciding what the values to pass into the functions as inputs should be, and deciding how to use the output value of that function. So you combine your functions with these LLM-ready definitions, and then you get a tool. In this workshop, we'll be creating some tools. The first one we'll create is a joke tool, which simply makes a HTTP request to a Web2 API and retrieves a joke at random. The second and third tools that we'll create are for Hedera. Now, this is a bit more complex, because we'll use it to sign and submit transactions on Hedera Consensus Service, or HCS. The joke tool is pretty straightforward. All we need to do is submit a HTTP request and pass its response. This tool has a name prefix with QRY_ to denote that it only reads information. Next, we'll be creating two tools for Hedera. One for creating a topic on HCS, and two, another one for submitting a message to an existing HCS topic. Both of these submit transactions to the network, so they're updating or modifying the blockchain. One thing that I want to be able to do as a software engineer developing AI agents is to be able to distinguish between tools that only retrieve information from tools that update or modify information. And this is CQRS. I've prefixed QRY_ in the tool name for queries and prefix CMD_ on the names of the tools for commands. The reason for CQRS considerations here is that we might want to consider something called human in the loop. By default, all tools automatically execute when the LLM decides that they should be. However, you might decide that certain tools require a human to approve or reject before being allowed to proceed. Given that one of the tools submits a blockchain transaction and these transactions are immutable, basically that means that you can't go oops and then revert them. This might be a good thing to cater for, right? Especially in blockchains. So we'll come back to this later. In each tool, in the function implementation, we create a transaction and we set the properties on that transaction. Then we go through the process of extracting the transaction ID. Then we sign it with the operator, which is initialized in the Hedera client. Then we execute and then get the receipt. And then from the receipt, we extract the data that we want. So we'll follow this pattern for both of the command tools for HCS. So let's do a recap. We created a tool for querying jokes from a Web2 API, and we also created a couple of tools from that would update or modify the state of the Hedera blockchain by submitting transactions to it. Now, these tools haven't been invoked yet, so they haven't run yet, and that's what we'll be doing in the next video. So see you there.